June the 11th. Our first order of business is approval of minutes. When committee members have had a chance to review, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item, well, the minutes are approved, sorry. Item number 1 is under old business, authorization to enter into a contract with Caleb O'Connor to provide public art to be displayed in front of the new Benjamin Barnes. Why? The total is not to exceed $332,650. Ms. Kay?
And if you would, Mr. Chairman, I'd
Yes, sir.
like to begin and then show a couple of slides, one slide and one video, and then turn it over to Ms. Day.
Perfect.
The plane crash of the Marshall University football team on November 14th, 1970 is not only one of the most tragic moments in college athletic history, it's become one of the more memorable. You see up on the slide the headline from the Tuscaloosa News on November 15th, 1970, which details the impact right here in our own community. In fact, besides Huntington, West Virginia, Tuscaloosa had the most student athletes who were lost in that plane crash. The 4 that we lost from our community was Joe Hood, number 33, and you can see him up on the slide. Larry Sanders, number 40. Robert Van Horn, number 75. And Freddie Wilson, number 87. We were blessed one other player was not on the flight, but from Tuscaloosa, Reggie Oliver, who is not included in that picture. So Tuscaloosa certainly has a unique connection. And in 2006, with the We Are Marshall movie, that connection got highlighted in a national way. In 2012, the city actually hosted a ceremony at the Bama Theater where there was a showing of the We Are Marshall. Can we get the PowerPoint back up? The We Are Marshall video. Go back, don't play it yet. We Are Marshall movie, and we had a temporary exhibit at the Tuscaloosa Transportation Museum that recognized the 4 young men that we've lost. Since that celebration and recognition back in 2012, we have searched for a more permanent way to recognize Tuscaloosa's nexus with that tragedy. So when we were exploring the Benjamin Barnes branch, looking at what public art should be there, knowing that many of those young men participated at the Benjamin Barnes branch, YMCA, we felt here was a good opportunity to recognize them with a world-class sculptor in Caleb O'Connor, recognize them in front of a center that talks about the building of great youth in our community. And so we felt that these opportunities came together in a way that could really make this one of the better public art projects we have ever put before this council. In addition, we have been working with the We Are Marshall Foundation. K-Day deserves all the credit in the world, who we believe will be a funder in this project, although no amount certainly has been determined at this point. Kay and I in the fall will be going to Huntington, West Virginia to make the presentation before their annual meeting. They've been looking at Tuscaloosa as a site, and we're one of the few where there's been a player who has passed away that has not recognized that player. So they see this as an opportunity for their foundation. For those that may not get a full understanding of just how much that tragedy on November 14th, 1970 played in the role of our nation's psyche and our culture, I want to show you just the trailer from the movie We Are Marshall from 2006.
I love you, Chris Griffin.
Hey, that was a big hit today. Fellas, I'm proud of it. We are Marshall! Almost home.
What's happened?
All 75 people are dead in the greatest disaster in college sports history.
This is our team.
I think you should have this back.
Chris gave it to you.
I promised mothers that I'd look after their sons. There's not one of them left.
You might cancel the program. This ain't right. I'm sorry.
A Jacqueline Gale called. Says he may be interested in the open coaching job.
Why do you want this job?
When I heard about what had happened, the only thing I could think about was how bad it would hurt if I was to lose before them. And I thought, hell, maybe I can help. This is my varsity team, huh? It's a new day, man. We gotta get creative about who we're going after.
Ever played football before?
No, sir.
Rough it! You think you're the only one that's had it rough?
We're not honoring them, Jack. We're disgracing them.
This is not about a game. This is about what happened to this town. There's something I think y'all need to hear.
This is our past. We cannot forget that. This is your opportunity to rise from these ashes. Funerals in today. One day we're gonna be like every other team, where winning is everything, and nothing else matters. And when that day comes, that's when we'll honor them. What day is it, son?
Game day.
What day?
Game day.
Time to play till the whistle blows.
So, okay.
Good afternoon, Council. I am requesting a contract with Caleb O'Connor to provide public art not to exceed $332,650. The art will commemorate Freddie Wilson, Larry Sanders, Joe Hood, and Robert Van Horn. They were four Tuscaloosa natives first, who played football for Druid High School, and then they were Marshall, who tragically lost their lives in the plane crash on November the 14th, 1970. These four young men are buried at Cedar Oak Cemetery down at 69 South. It's been a privilege to work with Marshall University, their foundation. They're very supportive of this project. Some of the thundering heard from the team that the year after Marshall lost all their students, and Reggie Oliver went out and got the city to say, yes, we will play football, and to go forward and have a team. Reggie Oliver is also buried at Cedar Oak Memorial, and it's just the right thing to do. I'm very passionate about it, and I appreciate your consideration.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
when all of this has been looked at, why the Benjamin Barnes? Why is that the recommendation?
Well, I believe that the Elevate 2022 A bond funds that were available to pay for the project were there, as well as the 1%, the $100,000 that would come about.
The Elevate 2022 Avon funds?
Well,
There's available funding. We have available funding left over in the Benjamin Barnes budget. And the council also requires, with Elevate projects, that 1% of the overall budget go towards public art, which is about $100,000.
So, go ahead.
no, I said, taking the money out of it, let me ask this question a different way. Why is the Benjamin Barnes, why the best place to honor these athletes, do you think? I mean,
Well,
why?
one reason I believe is that we did research, and two of the athletes actually were played in the basketball program at the Benjamin Barnes YMCA. So I think there's a connection there. I think the focus for the Benjamin Barnes YMCA is developing the youth and letting them know you can live your dreams. I mean, I think to focus on that these four young men were struggling from Tuscaloosa, and they were able to go to Marshall University and have the opportunity to play football. I think we focus on the way that they were living their life, not the way that they lost their lives tragically. I would say to you, wherever we can put these statues and and honor these 4 young men. Most people in Tuscaloosa have seen the movie. They don't realize that these athletes are actually buried here. So I think, we could possibly get some coverage, ESPN and different things. That's not the reason to do this. But I think there's a story to tell there in Tuscaloosa.
You know what, from my standpoint, it's a great movie. I had heard about the Tuscaloosa connection. I didn't know they were buried.
Yes, sir. And like I
did not know
said,
that.
Reggie Oliver was so pivotal in getting that next football team started. He's a young man that says, I don't have anything to say, but they do. He's the one who got all those students to be out there saying, we are Marshall. And he was pivotal in getting that football team back up and running. And like I said, he's also buried at Cedar Oak Memorial.
Good, thank you. Committee members, questions?
So I want to follow up the money question. The one we set aside, or we
It's a-
resolved to use 1% of the funds on these new Elevate projects towards public artwork, check?
Yes, sir, for
And that-
Elevate projects.
That would be about $100,000, right?
Yes, sir.
Where's the other 230,000 coming
From the
from?
remaining contingency in the budget.
So it's coming out of what was earmarked to build?
Yes. We do believe.
So there's no other projects in the city, Western River Walk, that are having their public art allocation reduced, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We also believe we will have an opportunity from the We Are Marshall Foundation, but we will not know what that amount will be until the fall.
But there's a possibility to get a grant or
Well,
something.
I'm
right?
sorry, we've actually been invited, the mayor and I and Ms. Howard, to present to the alumni. They have a huge gathering the night before every year at the actual crash. So it's on November the 13th. There's an alumni dinner. Alumni from all over the United States comes in, and the mayor will be able to make a presentation on, the project that we've got going on here in Tuscaloosa and solicit funds. Again, we can't, say for certain, but we've been told that, people are very generous during that time. And then also they have a fountain presentation the very next day, where there's a fountain at the university that memorializes what happened. And there's a big presentation, and they turn the water off at the fountain on that day, and then they don't turn it on again until spring, and that's the actual day of the crash. And we would also be able to have a presence there and present to everyone there. It's a great opportunity.
Follow-up question for Mr. Wilson? Mr. Wilson?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Kay, you said you did research. How far back did your research go?
I'm sorry,
You
research
said,
on.
You said that you did research, and I wanted to know, was there any additional research that kind of that had a certain committee together? Are you familiar with any of that?
What I did is talk to Mr. Knox at the Benjamin Barnes YMCA, and he actually was able to say that he had researched it, and 2 of the athletes had actually been on the basketball program there at Benjamin Barnes. That's the research.
Yes, ma'am. And the reason I said that is because I had spoken to former councilwoman in District 1 about this whole Marshall Committee, Marshall 4, and there were several committee members that are still living in Tuscaloosa, in my district, actually,
From Druid?
from Druid High School. My
Yes,
father
yes,
went
and
to
I've
Druid.
met with them.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And yeah, right, yeah, and just after, I just wanted to know, I wanted to know, was there any type of discussion about putting by Mr. Joe Hood or Mr. Joe Hood, who passed recently, about putting the statue at 15th and MLK for the purpose of honoring these 4 players? Have you ever heard of
I think I
that?
can touch on that. The reason why Benjamin Barnes is selected is really the opportunity that we have funding available.
Okay,
It's the next Elevate project. Elevate requires a public arts use.
Okay.
Requires
And
what, Mayor?
Public arts use. And so this, plus and Kay, this is always, or Miss Day, this is dangerous. What really sparked our interest is that the We Are Marshall Foundation reached out to us about a year or a year and a half ago and was talking about the cemetery, and that's when we started the discussions. Well, that's not, a city-owned cemetery, but there could be
Right.
some opportunities. And that started this discussion that leads us all the way to here.
Because I think this is a good idea.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to be able to know if there were any other exploratory things that have happened prior to what we're saying do today.
When I've met several times with the Druid Foundation, and they've been in my office several times, met with them down at Cedar Oak Cemetery, and they are taking full responsibility of raising the funds to elevate the markers that are down there for these 4 young men. It breaks your heart when you go down and see the way that they currently are. And they're creating a memorial and would like to do a plaque that basically says, here's where this statue is, wherever it ends up being, that we can get people to see that as well. And then possibly put something on the Riverwalk, a plaque that also says these athletes are buried here, and also here's where the statue is.
Because in our brief conversation the other day, after you and I talked,
Yes, sir.
it tweaked my interest, and I found out that many of the people who are even related to the person who initiated the Marshall for still live in Tuscaloosa.
Right.
Still are living, which is profound.
One of the ladies I met with dated one of these athletes, and
that's right.
And they, like I said, they're very supportive and have worked well together. But I do want to state that they have said they're responsible for raising the funds for the cemetery.
Gotcha.
And they wanted to see the city get involved, and that's when we started dreaming a little bit, and that's when I contacted Caleb O'Connor. He did such a great job with the Deontay statue. And he, with his own funds, said, I'm gonna do the clay models because I want you to really to be able to see what this is about, because he knew we were gonna take this back to Marshall University. So nothing has been promised to him. He knows that this has to go to city council first, and but he's very passionate about the project as well.
And Miss Day, how tall will this statue be?
He is stating that they would be 7 feet tall, and they weren't 7 feet tall, and I'm not sure why. But I mean, as far as an artist goes, I think it's just his vision that, that they're larger than life.
Well, I just want to say that that the way that all of this came together with the funding for the Benjamin Barnes YMCA and the timing of it, just all of that just seemed perfect. But also, I think the question was asked, why is this the best location? I believe that it's important for us to remember that, first of all, this entire project, the Benjamin Barnes YMCA itself, is all about being able to offer and do something better and that's needed for the children in the community, all across Tuscaloosa. I also think it's important for us to remember that this is a great prime location for this statue to be erected, because it will allow children in the community to be able to see role models like themselves every day. Hundreds of children will visit the YMCA every single day, all year long. And for us to be able to have this statue there will be able to remind them that a lot of great individuals have gotten their start just like them. So this is definitely a great location. I can't take any of the credit for it. I've enjoyed this every step of the way, but Ms. Day has been the one that has been doing all of the work. So, we had a lot of options. We've been working on this, just a public artwork for the YMCA for over a year. So this is very exciting to see it come into fruition to this point, and I can't wait until we get to the unveiling at the Benjamin Barnes YMCA, because this is going to be awesome.
Great.
We need to show those kids that movie.
Miss Day?
We should have a showing there. You know what? We'll make that happen. That's a great idea.
So what, this is a maquette, which is
Yes, sir.
a model. And then the 330, where does that, do we have that in some sort of contract proposal?
Yes,
And
sir.
does it include the foundation and the base?
Well, that was the part at the Benjamin Barnes, and why we were trying to get this process is because we did have funds left over from the Benjamin Barnes that we wanted Caleb to be, if this passed, that we wanted Caleb to be able to work with the people at the Benjamin Barnes to say, here's the best place for it, here's where the electrical needs to go. All of that would be included with the Benjamin Barnes, but that is not in his proposal. That's what we would be responsible for.
I'm sorry, I was almost there.
We would have to do a change order most likely for a base and electrical, depending upon where.
Okay, because the base, if you look at the Caleb piece out at Manderson Landing, that base was extremely expensive. So if we're crafting the acceptance of a contract, sound like we're fixing to,
I mean, this
it
is-
needs to be clarified what's included and what's not.
I'm happy to give you his contract.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
great.
I've got it right here, yes,
Good.
sir. And actually, I negotiated it down from his price. He was at $358 and I got him down to $332. But that, he can have that. And I didn't even trade him tickets.
She's my new roommate.
And I would also just like to say, talking about the location, I'm also working currently with the Civil Rights Foundation. There's a lot of historical significance in our community, but at this one location alone. So that makes it even more interesting and more beneficial to have this statue put at this location. We have Mr. Benjamin Barnes, McDonough Hughes, and now we'll have a commemoration of Will Marshall there next door to the C.A. Fred campus, down the street from Watley, and not far from the Weaver Bowling Library. So it's a lot in the Civil Rights Foundation. We're trying to work some stuff out and see how we can, add all of this together and make it work out for everyone. So it's a lot of excitement about it, and I'm excited for it to be a part of such a great project like the Benjamin Barnes YMCA.
Did y'all discuss and agree on a delivery time? Is this a 6-month project, a 5-year project?
He has told me that if, hopefully the Benjamin Barnes grand opening is December, I believe, the 15th or the 2nd. So he said that he would be able to get these ready in time for that grand opening.
Wow. December?
Now, that's what he told me. Now, you're an artist, he's an artist. It's possible. But he knows that would be fabulous. But if not, it also gives us another opportunity to have a PR event out at the Benjamin Barnes.
Definitely.
Other questions or comments?
Yes, sir. Let me say, I am in full support of memorializing and commemorating these four. I was informed by some of our key stakeholders about Mr. James Whitfield, who actually had a drawing of these Marshall Four, who was a part of the initial committee that was done when they met at the Tuscaloosa West Precinct. Yes, ma'am. And so those, I just wanted to know if those ideas that were previously discussed by those persons like the late Reverend Clarence Sutton, Brenda K. Montgomery, Coach O'Rourke, Mrs. Kroom, who was on the committee, well, any of those ideas taken in consideration of what was going to be placed at the Benjamin Barnes Y?
I was unaware of anybody meeting prior to that.
I don't think so.
No, sir.
When that committee met, I think it was around the celebration of 2012 and remembrance of 2012.
Yes, sir.
I couldn't imagine that they were part of those discussions.
I will add this to the conversation. If you get a Caleb O'Connor, I mean, that is world-class sculpture. That's not local talent. That's going up there.
And he's very passionate about this. Like I said, he's put a lot of time and his own money into this, just hoping that it passes.
It's a safer location for the kids to
Mr.
see.
Chairman, I want to say
Yes,
something.
sir.
I want to say something. I am just,
I never said that.
excuse me, I am just thrilled that we're doing this, and I think everybody supported it, absolutely. And I remember the day it happened, and I'm a Marshall fan to this day, and they're a little powerhouse. And then about a year after, Evansville University had a plane crash and lost their entire basketball team.
Yep.
So it was a terrible time, and so I was at the exhibit when the families were there and the Marshall folks came down at the Transportation Museum, and then it was a great night. And I'm just thrilled this is finally being done. I had suggested that, because it came to me, and I talked to Ms. Howard and everybody, that, have they looked at the Riverwalk as a location because of the numbers of people going?
Right.
Honestly, like I said, and I've told everybody, I don't care. It was a suggestion passed on to me, and but the fact that the most important thing is it's being done,
Yes, sir.
and it's going to be done, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful. And I'm just happy that we're to this point, and I'm also very happy that the Druid alumni, whoever is working on the headstones, because they're not asking us; they're actually going out and doing it themselves, and
Correct.
that means a lot.
Yes.
That's important.
And
Yes.
So I can't wait to be there when they unveil it myself.
Me too.
I know for a fact, if you a kid come up on the west side, black, east side, black, if you a young black man came up in athletics, whatever you was doing, whether they want to roll or not, them four young men came through the YMCA.
Sure.
At one point or the, they didn't have to be on playing organized sports. You could just come to the YMCA and play. You didn't have to be on the, look, I understand that the money ain't there because everybody come in and play.
Yeah.
Come in and practice. You come through the YMCA at one point in your life, through baseball, basketball,
I think
Community
a lot
place.
more kids will see it
Yeah.
at the Y than they would anywhere else.
And if it
And they'll
brings
see
a
it every
little
day.
more visibility or if
Yeah.
it's added to the Black History Trail or whatever, it'll create some more visibility to the YMCA because it's there. And so I think it's ideal that you put.
And Mr.
more
Busby,
athletes
Mr. Fail.
came on.
Mr.
That was
Lanier, I
all
think,
I
Mr. Busby, I want to add to your point about Mr. O'Connor. The fact that he is world renowned will mean a lot to the foundation when Ms. Howard and Ms. Day and I go and make our presentation. That the city is putting that type of focus and attention.
It'll be evident when they see his
Yeah,
work.
absolutely.
Mr. Fail, what are you gonna say?
No, I
Thank you,
just
Mr. Mayor.
wanted to agree with Mr. Lanier. I really believe a lot more kids will see it there than many other places, because they'll be walking to the Y. They'll be up there as much as they can, and how can you miss 4 7-foot statues? And they'll know what it means. Right now, they don't know who those guys are, but it'll mean something for the rest of their lives. Especially if Raven goes down there once a week and tells that movie.
Any other questions or comments? I would entertain a motion to approve. Motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2 is approval of a minor public works contract with Ryan Metalworks. Totals $2,825. Tim, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
This is funded by the facility renewal account, and this is to replace there's 2 metal steps right out here leading up the ramp outside to the transformer pad. This will replace those 2 steps and add a handrail.
Motion.
Second. Moving seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 2 is approved. Item number 3 is approval of a minor public works contract with Scales Plumbing, Heating and Air Conditioning for installation of a garbage disposal at the Tuscaloosa River Market. Very important. Totals $2,490. Tim?
Yes, sir. Thank you. And this will actually install 2 garbage disposals at the River Market kitchen. There are none in the kitchen at this time. Of course, this will enhance the capabilities of the kitchen, and it is funded by the River District Fund, repairs and maintenance line item.
Make sure everybody knows what not to put down there. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 3 is approved. Item number 4 is approval of professional services contract with Ward Scott, Morris Architects for construction and design services for the Gateway renovation project. The total is $164,750. Tim?
Thank you. We brought to council to Projects Committee May the 14th, permission to negotiate scope and fee with Ward Scott following the RFP. We've now got this price back from them. We also have Ann Kern here with us today who can address any questions that we may have. I'm sorry, Ann, you're over here. Sorry. But of course, this contract includes the, initial programming, design services, and technical services through construction.
Tim, what is the expected timeline on this? I mean, probably they'll have this put together when?
Timeline of design.
Timeline. How long will it be probably to get this
We
put
are
together?
waiting, there was a consultant here this morning, and we will need some of the programming information back from him.
And then what's standard? What would you say is usual time period once you get that back?
I think they are scheduled to have that back in hand about the end of
July.
end of
Well,
July.
sometime in July.
There's another maybe HUD issue that's gonna be resolved, but I think we can kind of look toward the fall on all the ways.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit,
Thank you.
I'm a little confused. Who's specifying what the architect is supposed to be designing? Do we know the end user yet?
Talking about Focus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've reached an agreement with Focus and
No.
Earth to Mayor.
It hasn't been, the agreement hasn't been finalized yet, has it, Mayor?
No, it has not.
Just, they had the.
Are they inputting to the, I mean, they're gonna be,
Yes.
Yes, the consultant
Was with Focus
met
Board all
with
day
the director
today.
of
Okay.
Focus today
okay.
for all of our input, program information.
They went to
number of
the,
offices.
The report that we received from the consultant next month.
and they went to all the Focus, current Focus, and then they went to the Gateway building.
That's correct. And
And
so
then they'll
the
come back.
report that we received back from the consultant next month will help guide us in making those determinations of whether or not this is feasible for Focus and how that design.
Okay.
will be
Motion.
from that point.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 4 is approved. Item number 5 is approval of a minor professional services contract with Krebs Engineering for engineering services for the Mercedes water storage tank rehabilitation. The total $66,740. Welcome, Mr. Gurney.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
There's a picture of the Mercedes tank east of the campus of the Mercedes plant. We provide water service out there. This will rehab the tank. What I'm meaning is we'll drain it, sandblast it, and repaint it. So this is for the bid package preparation of that effort.
This is for the bid package preparation?
Yes, sir. The engineering services associated with the ultimate delivery will be a bid package to get the tank repainted.
Repainted.
Yes, sir.
I'm not being cute. So it's $66,000 to design the package to bid the repainting?
The coating on a water tank it's very specialized. So I mean, this is I think your line of questions getting that why it's so much.
I would have never painted a water tank before, but all right.
Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 5 is approved. Item number 6 is EPA mandated water service line inventory requirement. Ms. Kimberly, welcome.
I did want to make one announcement before we jump into this item. So tomorrow we will be closing the boat ramps at Lake Nickel. Just wanted to publicly say that so that people are aware. We're doing maintenance out there, and we'll be switching to Lake Nickel water for our domestic water for temporary. And so the boat ramps will be closed just because we don't want the concrete boat ramps will be exposed and out of the water, so we don't want anyone trying to back in and damage their vehicles. But also the paddleboarding, kayaking, swimming, and hiking around Lake Nickel will still be allowed. So we just wanted to put that out there. And then there's signs and stuff out there, and they'll physically be barricaded off and all of that. All right. So this item, we brought this to you a couple months ago when we talked about the EPA service line inventory that will be required. So we just wanted to give kind of a mini update on where we are with this. So the EPA has mandated that all water systems across the country complete an inventory of all service lines, and that's on the utility side and also the customer side. And this has to be posted on ADEM's website and the city's website in October of this year. So we're actively working in the field to identify by popping meter boxes, digging out there to verify lines, but then we're also using records, whether it's subdivision files, different records that we have, tax maps, things like that, also rule ones out that were constructed or installed after 1989 when the lead ban occurred. So to date, we've identified 54% of our meters, so we're still working on the other ones. So one of the reasons that we're here is that in the coming weeks, we'll be sending out a survey, and it'll help. It's a survey that'll go out to customers, select customers, and it will be kind of a guide as to step-by-step for them to help us identify their material on their side. So there's a step-by-step way to do it, and then you can, if you're able to figure out the results of it based on a step-by-step, you report the results back to us, and that's one meter that we don't have to go back out to. If you can still respond to the survey, even if you're unsure of what the material is, and we can come out and help. But otherwise, if we don't hear from you with the survey, we'll be coming out there. We're just hoping that there's some customers that want to help us along with this and help speed up the process. But if you don't receive a survey in the mail, then those are ones that we've already captured. And so we don't need you to do anything. So if you get a postcard, we're asking for your help. It's not required. We're just asking for it. If you don't get a postcard, we're good on that. And if you want any additional information, it'll be on the website. And so the website is TuscaloosaWater.com. And that's really where we are with this. So you're starting to see we had a customer today that wasn't very happy that we were out there digging in her yard and recording, but you will start seeing us around doing those things. And it's not digging in the customer's yard, it's in the right of way, but we put everything back just like we found it. But in most cases, it's just gonna be popping the meter box lid and looking and seeing what's there, and you can see the customer side and the city side at one time.
Questions for Ms. Kimberly?
Motion.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item number 6 is approved. Item number 7 is approval of a professional services contract with Total Com for communications and marketing service. The total is not to exceed $75,000. Richard, welcome.
Yes, sir. So this is to enter into a contract with Total Com. We're going to bring them on to help us out to actually promote the water line inventory that Kimberly just spoke about, and then also to discuss lakes and promote our lakes and promote our source water. So yes, sir. So this $75,000 is going to include everything from media buys to doing photo shoots to creating commercials to buying the actual spot where the commercial is going to be. So it's not just for services; it is for.
Okay, this is soup to nuts.
Oh, it's everything. Yes, sir. So it is. I know it's some sticker shock on 75, but it's really just. It's a lot. It's a lot that goes into it. Yes, sir.
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 7 is approved. Item number 8 is approval of professional services contract with Vetro Inc. The total is $22,000. Jason, welcome.
Thanks, sir. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
This is an annual renewal of the software that keeps track of our fiber optic network and splices. It is a expected and budgeted expense in the IT maintenance budget.
Questions?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 8 is approved. Item number 9 is authorization of agency funding agreement with the Benjamin Barnes Y MCA. The total is $270,000. Welcome, Lee. Welcome, Jeff.
Good afternoon. Thank
Good
you.
afternoon.
This is a request for approval for authorization of agency funding agreement with the YMCA for a total amount of $270,000. And this dollar amount is pertaining to the furniture, fixtures, and equipment that Mr. Knox and I have determined necessary to outfit the facility. The way this works is that we have multiple vendors that we have received quotes from, items related to furniture, fitness equipment, audio visual, security, and so forth, that those vendors will submit invoices to the YMCA. The YMCA in turn will generate an invoice to the city of Tuscaloosa. We will include those vendor invoices as part of backup for documentation of the funds that will be redistributed on behalf of the city back to the YMCA. This, and the reason it's being brought forth at this time, the furniture procurement is necessary before the month of July to avoid any price increases. So,
Normal, what's normal lead time on some of this stuff?
Well,
Like
I
the
think-
chairs and stuff that take 2 or 3 months to get them?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have the furniture and the fitness equipment is scheduled to be delivered the week of Thanksgiving. So,
You don't have a huge window.
No,
It's a
sir.
grand opening there either. So, other questions?
At least you're not sculpting 4 full-size statues. Hey, we've been briefed earlier on this. I want to thank the whole YMCA team, from architect and design to the staff. They put a lot of thought into buying this the way you would buy your furnishings. What did y'all come in under budget, Jeff?
290,000.
Wow.
Thanks.
Great.
Second.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Well, sadly, we've come to the end of our agenda here. Is any other business to be brought before this committee? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second, and our next projects meeting is next Tuesday, June 18th. All in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye.